Did you get a chance to read it, or do you even have time to sit and read? These days you're so busy.
No, I never read the book or the script, actually. I kind of winged it.
From simple slip-ups to jokes that were bad, to downright rude comments and more, join me as I show you times talk show hosts made their guests uncomfortable.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video.
7. Cara Delevingne. We'd all like to think that the interviewer on a show can't cause great tension in an interview with a guest. But regardless of whether it's a pure talk show or a news show, it can happen at the most random of times, such as one uncomfortable moment that happened to Cara Delevingne. Cara Delevingne is an actress of some renown, including being the villain of the film Suicide Squad from DC Comics and Warner Brothers. Anyway, during an interview with the Good Day crew, an anchor noticed that she wasn't very excited to talk about the film Paper Towns, and he flat out asked her if she was exhausted from doing the movie promotion circuit.
Are you just exhausted?
No.
And then he added, "You seem a little irritated. We'll let you go take a little nap and maybe get a Red Bull."
Cara Delevingne, thank you so much for your time. Paper Towns coming up to...
She had a very visible and clearly awake reaction to that, because that statement was all kinds of wrong and rude. And for the record, if she was exhausted and just tired when she came into the interview, I wouldn't be mad at her because honestly, it happens. A lot of work goes into not just making a movie, but promoting it too. So if an actor or actress is tired, give them the respect they deserve and go easy on them. Don't call them out for being tired. This is the problem with interviews sometimes. The person asking the questions expects everything from the one being asked the questions, and sometimes that's just not right. Cara handled it the best she could, but you can bet that if she came back onto the show, she wouldn't want that guy around.
She was in a mood.
6. Ellen DeGeneres and Katy Perry. Ellen DeGeneres is a beloved talk show host, and she oftentimes goes and makes things fun for her guests and the crowd that watches the show. But by her own admission, she does screw up at times, which is natural. She's not perfect. But when she screws up, oh boy, can it get pretty awkward. Such as one time where she made the goof of a lifetime when interviewing the beloved singer Katy Perry. So, what was the source of this great blunder? One time, she brought Perry on the show to play a Would You Rather game. And one of the questions was about two celebrities that she would want to marry. Perry went, "Do I have to get married again?" and played it up for the crowd. Ellen was confused by the statement and somehow forgot that Perry was once married to actor and comedian Russell Brand.
His name is Russell Brand.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about Russell.
Yeah.
And Katy was flat out shocked about the memory lapse, even noting, "Remember you gave me some wedding gifts on this show?" To which suddenly the memories started flowing back to her. Oops.
Remember you gave me some wedding gifts on this show?
Yes, I do. I do.
Cool.
Yeah,
This is pretty bad when you really think about it. Forgetting the info is one thing, but forgetting that you had Perry on before and gave her wedding gifts when she was on? Yeah, that's not cool, Ellen. The funniest part of all was that Perry motioned to the people behind the scenes to cut this part of the interview out, but clearly that didn't happen, and that's why it's one of the most awkward moments on The Ellen Show. 5. Vince McMahon on Bob Costa's On the Record. I felt the need to put this one on the list because this is a case of history possibly repeating itself, especially in light of the coronavirus. In 2001, Vince McMahon, who is the head of the wrestling brand WWE, had tried and failed to make a new football league in the form of the XFL. The intent was that it would be a more intense and violent kind of football in the ways that the old days were played versus the new standard, where player safety is paramount. The idea was nice, but plenty of things led to its failure. Eventually, McMahon went on to Bob Costa's HBO show On the Record, and the two got into it about the XFL, and then it shifted to the WWE and whether wrestling is bringing more violence into the world. That's a loaded question if you can't tell. And, oh yeah, Vince didn't like that one bit, and he became so agitated that he almost smacked Costas.
You want to let me finish here for a second, pal? Shut your mouth and let me answer the question, all right? I'll be happy to answer.
No, for real. And if you've seen Vince's physique, it's quite impressive, so that smack would hurt. The reason that history is repeating itself here is that McMahon is again trying to bring back the XFL, and once again it seems like he's setting himself up for failure, but only time will tell. Though with the recent coronavirus outbreaks, he's had to go and cancel the rest of the season, which is definitely not something he wanted. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that the league is dead as of yet, and Vince has made sure that certain pitfalls of the first attempt are gone, including getting sponsors and good channels to show the games on. But as a whole, it's not looking good right now, and that could lead to another interview like this if someone isn't careful.
You got a situation that you don't know what you're talking about.
4. Samuel L. Jackson. For the record, it would have been a huge mistake not to put this one on the list because it was not only uncomfortable to see unfold, but hilarious to see the reaction from Samuel L. Jackson. In short, Jackson was doing an interview about his upcoming movie, the reboot of RoboCop, and various other roles he's done. Things seemed to be going very well in the interview, that is, until the anchor of the news program accidentally said that Jackson was actually fellow actor Lawrence Fishburne, even though he was briefed on who he was talking to, and it was even on the infographic. Needless to say, when Jackson heard this mistake, he wasn't afraid to take the anchor down hard.
You're as crazy as the people on Twitter. Right. I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
That's my fault. I know that.
We don't all look alike, Samuel burst in response. We may all be black and famous, but we don't all look alike. You're busted. You're an entertainment reporter, and you don't know the difference between me and Lawrence Fishburne?
My mistake. I apologize. Really, my big mistake. Let's talk about...
That must be a very short line for your job.
I'll say.
You might think that Jackson is blowing this up out of proportion here, but honestly, he's not. The two actors don't look alike, and that's the truth. Plus, while it might have been okay to make a tiny slip-up about a movie, it wasn't like that. He made a major gaffe, and Jackson was more than willing to call him out on it. Plus, if you know Jackson like we do, he was holding back his tongue because he could have easily done a profanity-laced rant about what the anchor did. 3. Colbert and Ansari. Continuing on with the very awkward moments about race, Stephen Colbert, who is hailed now as the new king of late night, once had Aziz Ansari, the comedian and actor, on his show to promote his new works. But for whatever reason, he decided that he wanted to put in a few jokes about Aziz's desire to see more diversity in television, such as noting, "Does having you on my show count at all?"
It's really diverse right now. It's
right
like 50% diverse.
50% of the people on TV are not white.
Wow. Oh, but it gets worse. Then, as Stephen and Aziz are talking about the book that the latter made, Stephen got the book title wrong, and Aziz calls him out over it and notes that someone should be fired. Colbert's response? God, I hope it's a white guy. I'm not sure what Colbert was going for here, but I think it's safe to say that it did not work. 2. Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. was, at one time, one of the black sheeps of Hollywood. He had a great young career as part of the Brat Pack, but after substance abuse issues, he quickly went downhill. But he didn't stay there. He got clean and worked hard to repair his image, which led him to become Iron Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This was a massive career rebirth for Downey Jr., which culminated in the passing of his character, spoilers, in Avengers Endgame.
Iron Man.
Which grosses $1.2 billion in its opening weekend. So, in many ways, his return to grace and Hollywood is an inspiration to all who hear it. Except for Krishnan Guru Murthy of Channel 4 News back in 2015. What was supposed to be an interview about him being Iron Man in his recent roles quickly diverged into a deep dive into his past, as well as his political affiliations.
Your relationship with your father, taking drugs and drinking and all of that. You think you're free of all of that?
Downey Jr. did his best to stay calm, but it soon became clear that this was all the interviewer was after, so he straight up walked out.
Still something
I'm sorry, I really don't. What are we doing? Bye.
Are you? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And I don't blame him one bit. That's not to say that interviewers shouldn't ask about his past at times, but to only focus on that when viewers are more concerned about current events, yeah, that deserves a walk-off. 1. Ellen and Cher. As noted, Ellen can be a great host, but she can also make some mistakes, and that includes taking her exuberant personality a bit too far. A great example of this was when she had the one and only Cher on her show. Cher is, of course, a musical icon and someone who takes herself very seriously in many of the things that she's accomplished. For fun, Ellen took her to a hair salon and decided to surprise some people with some funny haircuts done by the two of them. A perfectly wonderful idea, and Cher was into this and actually was taking this all seriously in regards to having fun with the guests and giving them good hair or wacky hair or what have you. But Ellen, yeah, she kept hamming up the joint, which you could say is what she does, but there's a line, and she definitely crossed it with Cher. For example, when taking care of two guests, Ellen continually interfered with Cher's work, including dousing the guest with water via a sprayer before Cher could even go to work. Cher kept insisting that she didn't want the lady's hair wet, but Ellen didn't bite and kept dousing her.
It's not wet enough. I don't want it. No, you want it wet. You want it wet. I don't want it wet. No, you don't. Stop it.
Then she started to do some karaoke on Cher's songs and called out the lyrics.
What would we the sky? Stars. Stars.
Which got Cher to clap back at her. And let's just say that she didn't like what Ellen said and called her a not-so-nice name.
Oh, you're such a bitch.
At the end, Ellen tried to say that her and Cher were best friends, but you could see that Cher wasn't buying that and even walked away from her.
I think we got closer, right? Don't you and I? Yeah, I think no.
You could also tell from the entire segment that Cher was getting more and more annoyed with Ellen the longer the segment went on. Yes, Ellen as a host is supposed to try and have fun with her guests, but the truth is that sometimes you need to respect the personalities of the guest, and that didn't happen with Cher. And that's what made this very awkward.
I feel like we're best friends. No, but we're not. But I do feel like we got closer.
So there you have it, folks. Hope you dug this video. As usual, please like, leave a comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.